Ben from RoxFit just took a tiny sip from his. Is that a cappuccino? Is that a?
It's a little espresso, but it's a little cup from Turkey. It's my I went to Turkey and found Turkish coffee. You'll never go back.
Is it Turkey or is it Turkey?
Turkey, Turkey, Turkey. Hey, I'm looking forward to the Istanbul when that goes. When that comes out, I'll be there.
Well, they changed the name. They changed the
Yeah,
name of Turkey. You know.
they have. Yeah, they're rebranded or something, haven't they?
Exactly. Much like any kind of restaurant, right? Like a rebrand. But you
Yeah,
guys already. But Americans say Turkey, and
do
you
they?
guys tend to say Turkey.
Turkey. Yeah.
And then
Well,
they changed it with the Y and the E at the end. So I'm really confused.
yeah, me too. But it's a good place to go. It's good food, and it'll be good HYROX. So I'll be there.
All righty. If you say so, I'll believe you. So
Oh,
we're not here to talk about Turkey, damn it. We're here to talk about RoxFit. Like any good founder, you're wearing a cap with your thing's name on it. Good job. Um, did you grow up playing sports?
absolutely. Yeah. Big rugby guy. So I've been playing rugby all my life, and then that's how I came into HYROX. I stopped playing rugby, needed something else to do, um, and yeah, found HYROX. But yeah, I'm a rugby guy through and through. I do miss it, to be honest. I do miss it sometimes, but HYROX is healthier. Let's put it that way. In
What
terms,
what town did you grow up in?
so I'm from Yorkshire. You can probably tell from the accent, but I grew up in Hull, which is a big rugby league um, kind of county an area. So we've got two Super League teams. So I played rugby union when I was at school. I played a bit of league, but then everybody got massive, and I'm only about 5 foot, just under 5'9", and I found I was better at the union, better at a halfback.
So
That's
The Americans won't know the difference between league
well,
and union. So just quickly describe both, or just the difference.
yeah. Well, league's more aggressive, like run it straight, less kind of ball out of play, more action, but it's a bit rougher. It's definitely a bit rougher, and the union's a bit more skillful, um, and it's just probably more well known. To be honest, I watch international rugby union, but I watch rugby league. Rugby league is way more exciting. So I grew up in Hull playing there, but I'd moved over to West Yorkshire. I went to university in Leeds, and I stayed in a place called Wakefield, just outside Leeds, and I've been playing there for the last 3 or 4 years, um, until I packed it in.
Well, I feel like there's a fair amount of athletes who've come from rugby or football, your kind of football.
Yeah,
Uh, so clearly there's some kind of transfer over.
definitely. I think rugby definitely. I mean, football's got they've got the running, they've probably got the legs. Rugby's interesting. Rugby's got tons of really good athletes, right? But the ball's only ever in play on average about 28 minutes in a game. There's a lot of stop start in rugby. So there's some big guys which they get tired. So you've got good physiques, you've got big, strong guys, but the endurance isn't there. So when I came over to start doing HYROX, kind of I thought I was in good shape. And I just wasn't at that level, right? Not the endurance side. So although it's an 80-minute game, it's not it's stop start. So you don't need a really good base level of constant endurance in rugby. You get quite a bit of rest.
It's funny because you consider that stop start American football way more state,
I know.
literally just like play stop, play stop, play stop.
Yeah, and they've got athletes. I mean, they've got some megas. They've got some of the best athletes in the world. And but again, it's explosive, isn't it? Similar to rugby, there's a bit of crossover there. A few of the rugby guys have tried to come over to US and crack the NFL, and they find it tough. But there are some definite. I think they find it tough from like a playbook, right, point of view. Like, I think there are some athletes that go over there that are serious athletes, and I think they could mix it. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know about the American football guys taking a crack at something like a HYROX. I think they'd gas. I think they'd gas out.
Well, the plays, if people pay attention to American football, the plays descriptions have gotten longer and longer, but that's what makes it for the individual's position easier. So
Yeah,
it's really only the quarterback that has to remember that whole piece,
yeah,
because if you know to listen for just that's why they add those things.
yeah,
So this is how you need to block. This is where these people need to run. This is where these people need to run. Unless I change it to this, then you're going to go this way. That's kind of all those language that people listen to. That's what all that means.
Right. I mean, it's always been too complicated for me. Um, I'll be absolutely honest. But rugby's simple. Rugby's a simple game. It kind of is like it's um, territory and points, right? Like it really is a pretty simple game. People overcomplicate it, but yeah, I'm still rugby mad. I still watch it quite a lot. I do when the gads. I mean, the season's just started last week for us, so our season runs like September till about June-ish. So all the lads are back in pre-season. They're all in the bar, they're all having a few beers, and I kind of see I'm still in all the groups on WhatsApp, and I kind of think, oh, I'd like to, but with everything going on with RoxFit, um, I kind of staying away at the minute. I need to I need to focus.
What did you think of the Netflix show?
Yeah, the Six Nations.
Yes,
Yeah, it was exceptional, and I can't believe they didn't renew it.
they didn't.
They didn't renew it
I'm
after
a
the first.
fan.
Yeah. Do you know what? So they tried to obviously emulate the F1 and the NFL, and they've done a few good shows. The rugby union teams, they didn't give them full access. So the Welsh team and a few others, they didn't fully let Netflix in to see everything, and I think they didn't like that, and I don't think they got full access. Even though we got quite a lot, which I thought was great, but it didn't tick all the boxes. And
Okay, so I think I'm a average American sports fan, right?
yeah,
I don't watch everything, but I know enough. I grew up watching them all. So every sport has tried to do what F1 did, right?
yeah,
Or even if you want to go all the way back to what NFL did with Hard Knocks. But F1 is a sport you've never heard of, most people. Here's these characters, right? Here's the drivers, here's these managers. And so you're kind of like a mini expert in a season. I felt Six Nations was the same way, right?
yeah,
You're introduced to these nations. You understand immediately the rivalry because of the countries.
yeah.
You also get, oh, the Italians play this way. These
Yeah.
guys kind of play this style. Right? So I thought they did a really good job. Like,
That's
you're not going to get me to watch the golf version. You're not going to let me watch the tennis version unless somebody really pinned me down and said, no, Matt, you have to try. It's going to
yeah,
be amazing. I watched the trailer and not interested. So I really enjoyed that show. And there's a little bit of the here's this guy's wife and whatever. I care less about that. I care more about the team and the camaraderie and what they're learning and how they face each other, that kind of stuff. But I thought the show was quite exceptional for like I didn't know any of that. I only know what my buddy Ian K tells me about rugby, and I've been to one match live. But that I thought was they did a good job.
yeah. Well, that's good to hear because I still thought they did. I just read that they weren't picking it up for whatever reason. I mean, rugby's never going to get the numbers that some of the other big sports does. Like, it's just not up there, and it's not it's not our primary sport in the UK. We know football is, our version of football just dominates here. We don't have, there's a big gap between that than rugby and your
But
cricket.
but when they show those stadiums, they're full, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Like the home nations, Six Nations in kind of February, March. You've got either two or three great games at home, which for us is Twickenham, or they've now sold it as the what is it now? It's sold the rights, so it's the Allianz is now, which we don't like the Allianz. We
Nah,
much prefer Twickenham. We call
we'll
it
call
Twickenham.
them Twickenham, right? Yeah.
You got two or three games at Twickenham in the winter, like they're going to be sold out. Like, it's hard to get tickets. So like, whereas club rugby isn't as popular, definitely a lot. The viewership's nowhere near that. But international, it's going to be a big do.
Yeah, I was over there actually. I think Glasgow was right around the time of the Six
Oh yeah,
Nations,
have you
and
been
I
up
was,
to Murrayfield?
and it was. I was like, is there any way I could make it? Because that would be so cool. But the
Mm,
timing didn't work out. Like I would have had to travel all the way down and back, and wouldn't have worked
right.
out. Um, but how long had you been doing HYROX before the idea for the app came up?
Well, that's good. It kind of rolls on quite nicely because I finished rugby about 2 years ago, and I was looking for something new. So I intentionally kind of knew I wasn't going back the next season. I started training, just keeping fit. And one of the guys at the rugby club, who actually is my co-founder, Joey, um, he had booked the London HYROX in doubles with his brother, and he was telling me about it. And I decided to then book on to Stockholm, which is the one 2 years ago where Hunter broke the world record. So that was my first one. So I just went literally back to back from rugby, looked for something, heard about HYROX, decided to book Stockholm and just start training for it. So there was kind of no crossover really, and just
So
kind of
what's
went.
the time? What's the time frame?
So that was kind of finishing rugby about kind of June, July, and then going up to December. So I was about training for about 4 or 5 months.
Of 22 or 23?
So that's 23.
Okay.
Yeah. And I just went over there, just had no idea what it was. I'd actually, funny enough, HYROX is interesting. So I'd actually come across it 3 or 4 years prior. I was working at a company called With You, which is another fitness app that I was working with. I was the first employee there, and I built that app for them. And it's like a 3D avatar where you follow workouts and exercises, and it's quite good. It's still going around today. It does pretty well. But they got the contract to do the HYROX warm up. There used to be, I don't know how far back you know HYROX, but there used to be a obligatory warm up that you had to do. And With You used to run it. And I remember being at the company and they were like, "Oh, we're doing this new event in Birmingham. Do you want to come up and do it?" And
well, in America, they didn't. I was at the second or third event in America in Chicago 2020. There was no that I remember. I don't think there was a warm up. I think we just got into the.
yeah, this is a UK thing. I think With You got the contract to basically do the warm ups in the UK events. And I was like, I just dismissed it. I was like, nah, that doesn't sound like rugby. Like, I'll leave it. And then I kind of knew about it. I just didn't know it was as big as it, or well, it kind of wasn't in 23. It was kind of getting on. There's about 1,000 people in Stockholm. So I did it and trained for it. And while I was training for it, I was looking for ways to be able to track my splits. So this is my first time on the ski and the row and this type of stuff where I'm going, all right, cool. How am I getting any faster? Like what's my time off the 1K? And I think when you first start training, you do a lot of simulations, right? Or you'll like do half sims and you'll do half HYROXs. And I was trying to work out, am I getting faster? But I couldn't track the splits, right? You just start a workout and kind of like just let it run, right? So I kind of annoyed myself into building the app because I was contracting at the time. I mean, I was really busy, so I was trying to put it off. But then after about a month or two, this is in October, November, leading up to Stockholm, I was like, I'll just build it. Like it'll take me a couple of weeks, build a quick MVP, get it on the watch, and then that was RoxFit. That was the birth of RoxFit.
So MVP is minimal viable product for the folks at home. I got to do your what's the word? I got to do your decoding for you, your founder decoding for you. So what did you build it on?
So I'm a mobile dev. We're kind of full stack, but I'm prioritize mobile. So I used a framework called Flutter. It's like a cross-platform kind of toolkit. If people might have heard of React Native, it's very similar to that. But
Flutter.
It's called Flutter, yeah. And it allows you to build on iOS and Android. So I did that and on the Apple Watch. So it was kind of the first version was on my iPhone, an Android device I had, and the Apple Watch.
And how long did that take you to go from zero to minimal viable product?
Just about 2.5 weeks. So we got something ready for, as I said, Joey in this timeline. I was talking to him about it, and I was thinking because he was doing a HYROX in London, I was doing Stockholm, and I was saying I think I've got this idea. I just don't have time to build it, but if someone could build this, and we kind of talked ourselves into building it. But the plan was to get an MVP ready for him in London to go get some feedback. So that was kind of, I started it early November and they raced about 23rd of November. So it's about just between 2 and 3 weeks.
So who's who in the, if you're the coding guy, what else do you do and what else does he do?
So Joey's marketing.
Okay.
He does, if anyone's seen our socials, he does all the memes, he does all the posts, he does quite a good job. He takes care of the kind of marketing side, customer support, and I do, I'm kind of product tech design. So we kind of complement each other quite well. And again, that was part of the reason me kind of trying to get Joey involved is that I knew he had an experience working at Runner in the marketing department and a few other fitness apps. So it just naturally came together.
So sometimes the guy who's the coder isn't good at talking at all. I know I joked and said, it's unless you're the boring one, let's get your mate on here too. And it would have been fine to have him. I like to get into like these kind of conversations, like your background,
Yeah.
before we just get into the app and stuff. And if it's two people, it's like my turn, your turn. Where did you start? Where did you start? What did you play? And so at some point, maybe I'll have you both on, or I'll have him on separately or whatever. But yeah, I'm glad. I've had people. I have had people come on, and they were the boring one, and they didn't know they were the boring one. And it's rare that it happens, but once in a while we don't use an interview. We're like, all right, this person's too fucking boring. I can't use this. It's over in about 20 minutes, and all right, well, there goes that.
Well, let's hope that's not the case here.
No,
But,
you're a great talker. We're doing great.
Yeah.
And,
Well, I guess I'm not a conventional developer. Like I am a developer, but obviously we have some devs that work with us, and I've worked with them for the last 10 years. And devs have a particular kind of persona, right? And like they don't like sunlight, they don't like exercise, they kind of like, you know, hunch over the keyboard. And I do like to write code,
and they
but
think everybody else is wrong.
yeah. Oh yeah, there's a big like ego complex, and there's kind of a big,
like they're like if people have seen whatchamacallit, they're like Guilfoyle, basically, right?
yeah, exactly.
What's the name of that show? I can't think of the name of the show.
Silicon Valley.
Silicon Valley, yeah, just
Yeah,
like
yeah,
very,
yeah,
very angry. Everyone's a fucking moron. Just let me do
yeah.
my
He's a good example.
coding.
He's a great example, actually, and that they are out there, right? But I guess I'm less of a dev. I'm more of like I'm a product guy. Like I'm a problem solver. Like I'm a user first problem solver, and then I take that back into code. Like I'll go and solve my own problem if I can, but like I prefer the product side of it and solving a problem that do in like the underlying architectures of computers and graphic cards, and like I'm not really interested in that.
Yeah, and so the social stuff is really good, and it is, I think, an interesting kind of wrinkle, because most apps don't do that, or don't do it as well, and clearly your guy knows what he's doing.
Yeah, you know what? He does a really good job, and we have this different angle, right? Like you'll know everything in the HYROX world and the hybrid fitness world, and all of that right now is all very serious, right? It's everyone looks perfect, everyone's jacked,
Not
everyone's
me.
doing yeah. Well, exactly. That's why I was quite excited to do this, because you are again on that other exception where we want to be, which is it should be fun, right? We've got that. You should be able to enjoy yourself. You should be able to run an hour 20, 25 HYROX. Like you don't have to go sub 60. You don't have to get into the world championships. So everything's just, and all the production quality of social media is so high, right? We just like to have a bit of fun. And I think we need to just, I think we need to like not lose sight of that. So we really try to work on giving educational content, but also like just try a bit of fun, take the mick out of CrossFit a bit, take the mick out of even ourselves. We do it. We poke the bear with HYROX, just have a bit of fun. And I think it's working well for us, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm especially critical, okay, of content. And I think when I first saw your stuff, I was a little bit like, are these guys just trying to be like HYROX buttery bros? Like, what are they doing? And then the more I stuck with it, I'm like, okay, I think they're more self-aware, right? Like, I've met the buttery bros. They're nice in person, but I can't really deal with their content. Like, it's just, to me, it's just the same kind of like, they kind of came into this world, and I want to call it, I'm going to name it right now. You ready? Fake bro, but not really, but we kind of are. And actually, Hunter kind of did that early. He was kind of early on in that too, where you kind of make fun of somebody for being a bro, but you really are a bro, right?
Yeah.
And so, like, you're wearing remember when people are wearing like the onesies, like they're wearing them ironically, but it's like, are you wearing them ironically? Anyway, the point is, the more I stuck with your stuff, the more I could see like, okay, these guys kind of get it. They are doing some of that stuff, but they are taking the piss out of themselves and HYROX and CrossFit. And I got to give it up to, like, good branding, right? Like, cool, like you guys are doing a pretty good job, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty critical when most people like do the stuff that you're doing, but they are trying way too hard, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
And it shows when someone's trying way too hard.
Yeah.
No one likes to try hard.
No, I think it because it's not natural. Whereas like it genuinely is us just having a bit of fun. Like on a Thursday, we find some memes and we have a meme committee where it just
Oh,
started
wow.
as me and Joey.
Oh, okay.
Because now we have some investors now, right? So we used to just push everything out and like nothing really crossed the line. Where now we have to we pushed a few out where we had a few is that appropriate type
You've sold it
messages.
out. You've sold out to the man already, Ben.
Well,
Barely 2 years old, and you've already sold out, mate.
we just have a committee where we say, look, we are reviewing them, but we've never actually since that committee we've never kicked one back. We're still like you'll see them every week. We're close to the line on it, but we just have fun. Like that is genuinely one of the best parts of my week that I look forward to, like sitting down, looking through them all, and we just have a good laugh. But we're not trying too hard. I think we are trying harder on the educational content side of stuff. We're trying to actually deliver some interesting bits to new users coming in. So giving some insights into just some tips, right? Like awareness on what to know on race day, nutrition stuff. So we're trying to mix a bit of the two. Actually, just become a pure meme page, which again you've seen. You need to be a bit of everything. I think it's working. It's working well. But we just can't lose sight of, I've got to enjoy doing it. Like I'm not.
Could your tagline be "Come for the memes, stay for the education"?
Yeah, yeah. Stay for. I
Free.
mean,
That's free for you, by the way, from me, marketing expert. I don't even charge you for that.
it's on record now. Yeah, and that's kind of not far off, right? It is literally we use the memes as a funnel, right? Like brings people in, and then hopefully they find the app, and we're doing pretty well on the downloads on the app, and it kind of works quite well as like a leader, like a a download funnel, I guess. So we'll keep doing it. We've got some new ideas for the end of this month with our new launch. So we're different type of play on the content, but we'll keep doing what we do.
So what are you doing that several apps are not doing? And it's funny because you'll see some random person hop in the groups and it's like, "Hey, I'm going to build an app. What do you guys think?" And it's like, maybe spend 5 minutes looking around the space.
I
I'm not
know.
saying you can't. Like, you could always start another podcast, another band, another whatever,
Yeah.
another app. But like when people like have zero clue, it always cracks me up. So tell me what you're providing, how it compares and contrasts to what's out there that folks might be using or are thinking about using.
Yeah, you do see a lot, and look, I encourage. That was me a couple of years ago, just hacking some together. So I think go for it. But there are quite a lot of these similar tools out there now. But we're slightly different because we're an app, right? So right now, most people come to us for the race results, which is cool. And we display the data in a nice way, and you can share it, and you can set up you can set up a calculator pace, so you can pace your race and then race against it. So you can basically set your splits up, download it to the watch, and actually race it in real time and get a delta. So during the race, this feature is called Pace Me, and you can complete a split, lap it, and it'll tell you whether you're 10 seconds or 20 seconds behind your goal time. So that's
Delta is another word for change. I have to
yeah,
keep.
that's it.
Do
So
you
yeah,
guys say Delta in the UK instead of change?
yeah, I'll say delta. Yeah, it's your positive or negative delta.
Is
Um,
it British or is it or is it
yeah,
coder?
it's dev. I guess it's like math C dev Z.
Okay.
Okay, but
Again, that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to bridge the gap.
translate. So yeah, it'll show you how far off you are basically from your goal. So that's quite cool. There's a lot of good sites out there. I think there's some sites that do like there's a lot of the race result sites and they do quite well. High Result again, shout them out. They do a pretty good job.
They're
Really,
the Yeah,
yeah,
they're my go-to. They have
yeah.
been since day one.
They're good. They're good, and they just focus on that. We focus on, especially with the new release, we're focusing on what you can do with that data and actually like how you can use it in real life, right? Syncing that data to wearables, creating workouts on the app that you can actually play back in real life, so you can track all of your splits. And we've got some cool features coming out at the end of this month, which are don't know how much I want to go into it. Don't know when this podcast will go out, but it's a lot of AI stuff, which
Sometime
obviously
in 2025.
is all the rave. Yeah. So
Well, listen, I'm not asking you to slag anybody off, but what do you do, let's say, that RoxFTI does or doesn't? What's similar, what's different?
I guess they provide a comprehensive report and can estimate your next HYROX time, right? So it's a bit more data analytical and they provide you with a PDF report, right? Which is cool. But it's just a PDF, right? Where what we do is you can actually take that digital data, convert it into a workout and sync it to your watch, right? So any website is just like they don't have access to the underlying mobile app platforms and SDKs. So you can't sync a workout from a website to a mobile app, to your watch. You need an interim mobile app. So just by having the mobile app, we have access to a lot more cool stuff. But it's mainly all around the tracking, right? So like probably easiest way to think about it is Strava for HYROX, right? Being able to track
That
a
should be your tagline. Is that your tagline?
it's in our pitch deck. That's how we secured investment actually using that.
Okay. Is
Just
it against the law to say Strava for HYROX?
yeah. Well, there was a lot. Remember when everything was Uber for dog walking and Uber for
Right. But that's right. But I think, but it worked for the first couple of years because people understood it. I think Strava for HYROX is perfect, but unless
yeah.
you can't say it,
I don't know. Maybe one for council, but it is.
hey,
It's kind.
let's
I've
get
probably
legal on the phone. Hang
yeah.
on. Let's get legal on the phone. Hey, legal.
It's fine. Strava HYROX probably the best way of doing it. So there's just more to it. There's some more social elements coming out in the next couple of weeks where you can find other people's profiles, look at their workouts. Like again, the Strava style community workout tracking.
And I got to say, that's the piece that I always feel a little wonky about. Like, do I want another profile? Do I want another thing to sign into? Do I want to interact or get messages on yet another platform? And maybe it works and it does, or maybe it doesn't. But that's always kind of my first thought when people are like, oh, it's just another social platform. I'm like, I have plenty. I don't even interact on my Strava. I keep my Strava, but I don't. People give me kudos. I don't ever give anybody else kudos. I just like seeing my data.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
and that's what their Strava have recently updated their app with a lot of cool insights, and especially from the premium version. And
As opposed to their amazing AI that says, "Wow, looks like you went on a long run."
yeah, like some of their they released the AI stuff and even Runner's AI stuff earlier was really way out. Like
It's
it was giving weird like estimations and weird like it was tagging up workouts completely wrong. But I think it's stabilized. It's pretty good now.
well, I mean, if I say I went on a jog and it was hot, it was going to be like, "Looks like you went on a nice jog while it was hot." Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's. I think it's AI is like literally useless. It's like
Yeah,
comical how bad it is.
yeah. On that, it's Runners was like I saw one somebody post online where they just completed a 5K in whatever time. It's a fast dude in like 17 minutes. And then the AI estimation for a 5K was like 19 minutes. But it's like you've just done it in 17. So how can it, it's just stuff like that where it's like, yeah, it's a bit way off. But I'm telling you, like the stuff we're doing with it and the stuff that a lot of these other apps starting to do with it is going to change a lot of. Obviously, we know it's going to change a lot of industries, but fitness especially. Like there's some really cool stuff we can do with it. So I'm quite excited about it. It might look first versions, especially for our new release, will be a bit wonky. They all are, but that's how you get to a polished version. You got to get it out.
So maybe it was 6 months ago, maybe it was a year ago. HYROX was like, "Oh, by the way, we're not going to let you scrape our data anymore," and then they changed their minds. Are you worried about that? Because they might change it back.
Yeah, they might. So we're in constant dialogue with HYROX. We had a good relationship with them. We spoke to them. I sat down with Mo in Chicago. And look, them guys they're just flat out, right? Like they're an events company. I think people kind of don't really realize that well, I actually think they're an events and logistics company, HYROX, right? But they're not a tech company. It's just further down their pecking order. And right now they're growing at a rate of knots. Um, they've been fine sticking with like no one's crying out for a mobile app, so they've kind of put it on the back burners. However, I know they are interested in it. We're in contact with them, so I'm hoping that if any change, we would at least be in a position to be able to have a good conversation with them. But yeah, they did change the race results, and at the end of the day, it's their data, right? Like they're collecting it. They own it, right? But it would be a shame for them to not open it up to other third parties to be able to use it in a way they want to use it, right? Just like any other. Imagine like not being able to access Ironman results, right? Like, oh,
And that's what I said to Mo when I talked about it, and
yeah,
I was a little surprised. This was when they were still holding on to it because I had just heard him on a podcast say that the reason you have a real sport is when you actually have an ecosystem around it, something like a RoxFit, right? So he was like, well, we're gonna have like maybe a coaches thing where you pay more, and I'm just like, yes, you can cry, it's my data all day long, but again, why would I not be able to get my Boston Marathon splits? Boston's going to
Yeah,
say, no, you can't have that data. It's silly.
exactly. It's silly, and I think it's what other third parties can do with that data. That again, we're a tech company, right? And I sat down and had a really good conversation with Mo about even how we can support HYROX as well on some of the technical challenges that they have, because they're not a tech company, right? Like this is what we do, and we can do, they can do stuff a lot better than we can, but we're pretty good at the data side. And there's a RoxFTI, there's a few other guys out there, high result, that again, we're all good at what we do. So the conversation was positive, and I think, I don't think it would go down a way that would prevent us having access to any of the data. I think there might be, some form of agreement or license agreement, or I'm not sure how it would work, but I guess I'm not concerned. No, it would be a massive shame to the community if they were stuck looking at textual splits and being able to not do anything else with that data. I mean, you saw the thing that came out in Manchester, the one you're referring to when they switched. I was at the event actually, and it was carnage. I mean, I feel
No,
for
it was Vegas, I think, that I was at, and I
yeah,
was
that was the one after. Yeah, so they tried it in Manchester in January, end of January. Then they went to Vegas in Feb, I think, and it was another. It
yeah,
was a
and
shit.
I went to talk to their timing guys to show them that the top 10 was the first place guy 10 times. And I said to the guy, these two gentlemen, I said, see how this is working? He's like, no, 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 just keep scrolling. I'm like, oh, so then I see number 2, and then I keep scrolling, and then I'm like, no, 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 it's not supposed to look like this.
Yeah, yeah,
It
yeah.
was so bad.
And the UI was bad. The UX was bad. And look,
All of it, all of it was garbage.
they rushed it. They rushed it. And I mean, Manchester, they had a really bad luck because they laid 2 of the timing mats down the wrong way. So
Oh,
8 and 7 was swapped. So again, that's not ideal. And there was just a few mishaps where I think a kid had like crawled under the wall ball, like the cage around the wall balls, and it got into the all the wires and pulled one of the wires out, and the screen came off. So like the screen was off for a period of time. They just had a really unfortunate launch of that system. However, their premise was right. Like they're trying to control and own their own data. That makes complete sense, right? I just think there was no rush to move away from Mika. Mika do a pretty good job. No one's ever complained about Mika. Like it works.
I mean,
Like
they could also fire Sportograph, but why? You know what I mean?
yeah,
It's like, yeah, you can eventually save money by bringing things internal, but not when you don't have, you know what I mean? I mean, the
100%.
only way to do it is if when you actually like buy the team, like when a
Yeah,
company purchases the team, then they get all the people and all
that
the
would make
knowledge.
sense.
Yeah, then it makes sense.
That would make a lot of sense. So yeah, I mean, they would make a lot of money on the Sportograph, but again, they're a logistics and events company. Like they every time they put a new event on, or they sell another day onto another event, they're going to make way more money than worrying about a few pictures, right? So like they're focused on the right
To
things. They're
me,
very
I look at timing the same way though.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah. I agree. I think Mika are doing a good job. But I mean, the conversation I've had with them guys, they're smart dudes. They're really smart. Like
I think
Mo,
so too. I like Mo and Christian a lot.
yeah, I don't know Christian as much. I met him once. I spoke to him a few times. Very smart guys, very passionate, and we put a post out at the end of the World Champs, just being like, because there was a lot of flack coming in for the sleds and a few of the bits, but it was just like, guys, these like they know, they're aware, they're trying super hard, they're gonna make mistakes when something's growing hand over fist, like
But
what they
that one was, I think, on your championship. That's unforgivable,
yeah,
especially when everyone says, "Why are you launching new sleds on this day?" Like that one. That one was not okay.
I think they could have definitely. Well,
Listen,
you know what? I think it was a speed of reaction. Like I could forgive them. People make mistakes. It just took them way too long to react to it. It took them like they could have done it. They found out on one of the early days, right? And they didn't replace any sleds till like Sunday, I think. So they'd left them out there for 48 hours. It could have been quickly rectified, but there's so many mechanics that go into this. Like these guys are dealing with so much stuff. I just think they didn't have the right people. They've now brought in a race director. They've brought in they're going to have a lot more process in place this year, so things like that can actually be addressed straight away.
I forgive them a lot of things. You know, this news was announced yesterday about the pro card, essentially,
Yeah,
right? And you know, people are crying that like, oh, it's all money, and it's like, no, like if it cost $1,000, I would
yeah,
say they're not being fair. but it's not. So literally any post that has a dollar sign next to it. I used to love HYROX. Now they're greedy. I mean, it's just you're going to see that every day for like every company, Spartan, Ironman, whoever. So I to me that is bollocks, and I do think I forgive a lot of things when you're growing, like we've said, like a rocket ship, and certain things can't happen, right? But like again, launching a timing system that clearly wasn't, like, as a coder, you had to know how bad that was,
Oh, it was
right?
bad. I knew it was happening. So there's a few layers to RoxFit's history. We were actually working with Center and HYROX for a period of time,
Okay.
and there was an idea of like a super app between the three of us, and it just didn't transpire for several reasons. But at that time, we knew they were bringing the timing system. We knew they were going to do it, and I'd spoken to a few of the HYROX guys, and they were, yeah, this was September of 24, and they were thinking about launching it in January. And I was like 4 months to build a timing system, and they had no event to test it on either. So the last one was in December, so they hadn't actually run a test. So I knew it was happening at some point, and I just hoped they'd get it right, and it didn't. And if you lay them, I mean, so many things can go wrong with timing. Never mind laying them down in the wrong order or cables. You've got network issues. You've got leaderboards. You've got to calculate real-time leaderboards. So we now do real-time. And so one thing we have got, actually, back to your question of what do we do differently, we're the only ones who do live results and push notifications. So you can go onto RoxFit and I can follow you at your next race and click follow. And every time you go through a station,
See, that's great. That's
yeah,
you should lead with that one. That's a
yeah,
huge one.
cool. It's cool
Because people don't know how to do that, and I'm a pretty smart guy, and I forget how to get to that part of the website every other city I visit. I'm like, wait, how do we do it again?
Yeah,
And like you're looking for your mate, and you just kind of stand there and wait for them to come around.
100%. And we've got coaches now who go in. Again, we've got a big launch coming out where we're redesigning the whole app, and this is really easy to find now. But it's called tracking, and you could just go in and just track 10 people, and then when you're in the event, you get a push, and you know where they are, and it's about 60-second lag, but it's enough to. It really is quite
So
cool.
I can add like a my favorite like before the event even starts.
Before we
Okay,
start.
that's great for someone like me or for any coach or for anybody who's like, well, Kevin's racing at noon on Friday. My friend Cheryl is racing at noon on Sunday. Like I forget all those things, right?
You
So I got
do.
to put it in a notes app. This is great. Okay, well, you
Yeah.
just sold me on that. What is your price? What is your business model?
So we are freemium. We are freemium app. We don't sell anything as of now. We are building an app for the community right now. We've raised some investment so we can continue doing.
Oh,
that.
I saw the big press conference. I said,
Yeah,
big deal.
yeah. It was tough. It was a tough landscape. Now AI's out. It's easy to raise. You just say you got AI in it and you can raise money. But kind of 6 months ago when we started, it was a bit of a slog. Raising money in the UK is a lot harder than the US. US is kind of overnight, right? Yeah, that sounds
Not I
good.
don't think so. I mean, there's been a couple of times in history where people give away a lot of money, but I think then there's pullbacks because they didn't discover their unicorn.
There is, but it might not be overnight, but you have this mechanism called safes where like the legal structure around doing it is much quicker and simpler. In the UK, it just takes, we have something called SEIS, which is a seed enterprise investment scheme, has to go through the UK government. That takes like 8 weeks to get approved. Like everything's just slow, right? Whereas
Right.
US is like, that
You
sounds good.
probably have less grifters though.
Yeah, we probably do. We probably do. But there's a lot of I mean, it's just it's a harder mechanism to get it done. But we got it over the line, and we've raised to be able to stay freemium for as long as possible. And what we're trying to do is become feature complete. So we just want to build. The first phase of that is happening in end of September, which is a complete UI UX redesign of the app. We brought in some designers. The new app looks slick. It's really easy to use. Even yourself there saying about the tracking, you can find it easier. And we've added
So
some new.
what's free and what costs right now?
Everything's free.
You said freemium. Freemium means you pay for something down the line.
Yeah. Okay. You're correct. The idea is there will be a paid version. So it's fully free now, but
Okay.
we will always have a freemium element. The idea is, look, I think like Strava is not a bad business model to follow. They were free for a long time. They like a mopped up the market, got a lot of users on board, and then monetized just the hardcore users, which I think makes sense, right? I don't like products where you can't use it without paying at all. I think there is people who use the products a lot, and they should chart, they should pay, right? If you're a hardcore user of a product, we'll make money on the 5% of people that hammer RoxFit, that are coaching, they track 20 people a weekend,
Yeah.
and
I pay.
then
I pay for Strava, and like I don't even use half the features
yeah.
probably.
But then there's the people who are just spectators of HYROX, right? They just want to. They've got the daughter or niece is doing a race this weekend. They want to track them. They want to see the results. They shouldn't have to pay for that, right? They should just be able to come in. So that's kind of roughly the model we're working on. So there will be a paid version some point next year when we run out of money. But at the minute, it's free, and it's why we've done well. I mean, we're at 135,000 users at the minute, and probably most of that is because we are free and people can just get started.
All right. So this is where I ask you active users. Like you might
I,
have that many downloads, but like what's active users like?
so our MAU is about 55%. We're about around 60 to 62,000 at the minute. Last month of my last kind of board meeting was about 62,000. So it's pretty good. July, August have been dreadful. It's been really quiet.
Well, there's also it's only been races over in
Exactly.
it's about to kick up again in Europe and America.
About to kick off. It's a timely release that we're doing to crack on with kind
Right.
of
So tell people what MAU is. I have to keep slowing you down.
monthly active usage. So monthly active users is about let's say 50% roughly, which ain't bad. Like it's pretty good. Our DAUs, yeah, between it's about 5,000 to 10,000 weekly active users. WAUs 10 to 20.
So would you ever do it for other races?
Definitely. So like we like HYROX, and it's not a bad wave to ride right now, but we're interested in like the fitness racing, right? We want to be the ultimate hybrid fitness platform, and HYROX are just doing a really good job. Any other races, we're keeping an eye on what's going on at the minute. There's some cool races coming out. There was the one in the US recently. I think you covered it. The life the
The
lifetime
Lifetime Games?
lifetime games.
You're
Keep an eye on that.
we're gonna know in like 15 minutes. The world is gonna know. They told me noon today.
Really.
So we'll have our article out. I'll push my video out. So I already know everything. But
I'm interested to see like because they can scale, right? They've got the numbers, they've got the locations. Don't know how many gyms they've got up and down the US, but like they're an interesting one to keep an eye on. There's some other great
you've already
sports.
got like 10 other companies over there.
Yeah, we do. So we are in contact with Deadly Dozen, Metrics. We had a meeting with. We are in conversations with all of them, but right now our primary focus has been RoxFit V2, which is geared to more towards the HYROX. But we're building this engine and this kind of AI that can be moved across apps in a weird, like if that makes sense. So we can.
Yeah. What about Ethics? Talk to those guys?
I haven't. I met Ollie March on at the Rivington, the 247 Rivington games. We run that.
Why was I not invited to that? I saw you guys were invited to that. I saw. Why was I not invited to bring an HFM team to run?
Would you want to do it? It was torture.
Absolutely, introduce me. Make some. You know me. I get dirty with the people. You followed my channel, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's another one. We spoke to a company called Fittest PR.
Oh, of course, I know
Oh,
those
you know
guys.
them guys. Yeah, so I think they were organizing the event. They offered us a team spot. So maybe reach out to Keith.
I'll have to bug Keith and say, Keith,
Yeah,
why was I not thought of for this?
100%. I chat with Keith last week actually. He's a good guy, Keith. Really interested. They're doing some good stuff. Fittest PR, but there's another one next year. So get your hat in the ring, mate. But I tell you what, it was tough. It was tough, and we snuck on the podium mainly because we had Charlie Botterill in our team who ran the last 3 5Ks in about 17 minutes.
Good job.
I mean, it was max distance on the ski, but you couldn't start the ski until your first person got back from the run. So the quicker you got back from a run, you get on the ski. So Charlie, you're already a marathon at this point, and he's running 17K, 5Ks off trail run. I'd say it's more like 15 to 16s. It was nuts. He was getting back and doing 2 to 3K on the ski before anybody else returned. And he just turned it on, and we climbed the ladder and got into third place. But that was tough. But look, there's some good events coming over here. I really like these I like these brand events, right? There's like all these brands are kind of hosting their own events now. 247 have done it, BPN have done it over in US. That hit quite well. But they're kind of one-off events.
He hit a home run so well with that. I talked about this the other day on a podcast that people think he invented that format because it was such a massive
just the
success.
backyard.
Backyard. Yeah. They're like, oh, what a great idea. And he doesn't, of course, try to take claim for it. But when I saw his team were in Chicago and I said, like, two guys were just eating, the media guys. And I was like, congratulations. You fucking crushed that.
They crushed it. They absolutely crushed it.
You and I should have a little, we should chat and with your other mate too, off the record, about content stuff. Cause I have a lot of thoughts and I love talking to people about that stuff.
Yeah, definitely. And I think like they do a really good job on the content. Like Nick's good, he's authentic. The YouTube's good as well. That whole brand's just nailed. But there was another backyard ultra this weekend at the Red On. You know, the Red On My Protein. They did one this weekend.
Oh, interesting.
That went for 40 hours. So I think there's so many events, right? There's the brand events, there's these new there's your Athletics, there's your Deadly Dozens. We're trying to just almost like analyze the landscape a bit and be like, look, let's get version 2 out. Let's get, like, HYROX is flying right now. Let's see who just elevates himself up into that kind of like second position. But at the same time, we can help, right? We get a lot of inbound. We've got so many users. Obviously, if we pushed users to a particular event, it could obviously drive a lot of traffic. So we're interested definitely in other events. We just got to make sure, we just got to make sure we.
Are you saying it would be pay for play? Is that what you're saying?
I think we could definitely help, and I think we could do something. But it's I've even thought about, like, we're in a position to do an event, right? We'll have 200,000 users by the end of the year. We know a lot of people in the space. We could probably put something on. We're not an events company, so I always go back to, like, I don't know how to do one. We're a software company. We could partner with somebody, right? And we could drive traffic to that event, whether that's an existing event.
I think that would be the move. I think that would be the move, right?
That's what I'm thinking about, is getting a big headline sponsor, or somebody who can, or another events company that's already doing something similar, and we just have a big RoxFit fest, or we just come up with a new event. And I think that could be the move. But I love the events, and like, get rid of RoxFit. Like, I got into this because I did a HYROX and I thought, wow, this is pretty cool. Like, the actual event is awesome. If other people can come in and replicate a similar vibe, like HYROX is cool at the minute, but there's no reason why another event couldn't do something similar. And I think I was reading something about a running. You heard of this Running Man? You'll know, over in the US, the Running Man event. And I was looking at the format of that. That looks cool.
So Running Man, his team, Jesse's team, put on an event called 29029, which is you hike the equivalent of Everest.
Yeah.
You hike up and take a gondola down. And it's definitely one of these high ticket, $10,000 for yourself, $3,000 if you split a tent. And people like, oh, I could do that for free. But it's like, yeah, but it's a pretty cool event. They give you everything, like, you just get there, and so they feed you, and there's speakers, there's cold tubs and all that shit. And it was a cool challenge, and I'm so glad I did it. The Running Man Fest, I almost went to because it's here in Atlanta and because I do know those guys. But the more I looked at it, it looked like, to me, like, do you want to be surrounded by the Buttery Bros for 36 hours? Because that's what it is. It's a bunch of influencers. So, like, and again, I know some of these guys, right? Like, I know and met Matt Choi, and I like him, and I've met the Buttery Bros. But, like, do I want to be in an event that's just a bunch of influencers filming themselves? Probably not.
Yeah.
Me personally. The concept, though, the idea of the wellness festival, yes, we're in a moment of it taking off, and you could put on your own version of that with a cool sponsor. Because again, the running part for them is just kind of almost like the indirect object. They're more about the other stuff, the saunas and the speakers. And by the way, if you want to run 5 miles or 20 miles, you can.
It's smart. It keeps everyone on site as well. So HYROX, you go, you smash it, you can leave. It's quite a smart idea there, because it keeps everybody there for the day.
I hope I'm not going to get killed by these people, but, like, I don't know that it's doing that well if I see an ad like every third frame of my Instagram is a Running Man.
Oh, really? Oh, I don't get it.
I get, well, I mean, I think because I stopped to look at them once, or maybe because I live in Georgia, or
Yeah, could be
who
location.
knows. But I just feel like, again, that one in particular seems like an influencer fest and not really like a cool event. Like yours was unfucking believable. So tell people what it was, the one you just came in third in, because people might
Yeah.
not know what we're talking about. The
Yes.
Rivington.
Yeah, the Rivington, the 247. So we did. So there's a big brand over in the UK, which a lot of us look up to, called Represent, that do kind of like high end luxury clothes, right? And they're really, it's mainly a men's label, but they started to do some women's. So they're based over in Manchester, which is very close, about an hour and a half from me. And they put on, George Heaton, the founder. He's like a very he's a very aspirational dude. He like your typical like work hard, get up at 4 a.m., run a £100 million company, kind of like a UK Nick Bear in a
Right.
sense, right?
Okay. That's a good example.
Yeah, and he's pretty cool. So they've always kind of tread that line, and then they decided to put on their own event for the first time, which was a 12-hour event. Every hour on the hour, you've got to run 5K, 5 kilometers on a trail run, which was it was tree routes out of rocks. It was up and down. It was pretty
Proper
different.
trail run.
Proper trail run. And then you're a team of 5. And the more people that run each run, the more points you get. So most teams, all 5 runners ran. A few teams left one behind. But if you all run, you get more points. And as soon as you get back, you can start on the ski. And it's max distance ski for the remainder of that hour. So the idea is accumulate 25 points on the run, but somebody get back as quick as possible, start on the ski, split the ski for the next 40 minutes, repeat that for 12 hours. Which again, like for me, I've come from a rugby background. I've come to HYROX. Furthest I've probably ran recently is kind of half marathon, 2 hours maybe. So 12 hours is not in my repertoire. So, but I went for the business. I went to meet some of these. I went to meet George and a few others, and just try to get RoxFit out there, which obviously we managed to do with the podium. But it was tough. But I came away from that thinking, again, kind of what you're saying with the angle of us doing our own event. I kind of thought, yeah, I can see how a really well run event can elevate a brand, right? But it has to be good, right? You can't put on a crap event, and these guys would have probably lost a lot of money on that event, right, on the day, because they sold no tickets. It's just a brand awareness piece, but it'll do wonders down the line.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Red Bull wrote the book, right?
Yeah,
Like,
Red Bull.
let's just put on this super cool event, and it's a lost leader, but it's fucking badass, right?
Yeah.
And they did this. Did you see this thing they did in Texas? It was called no, I forgot it. I was just there. We were calling it HYROX, HAY. So
Right.
basically, like you threw a big tire over a fence, and then you got on a horse and pulled a fake horse and pulled the tire, and you know what I mean. It was like,
Was it? I mean, they did something down in Silverstone.
exactly. So it was the cowboy version of the Silverstone event.
I
So
didn't see.
instead of everything having a car part, it was a horse part.
Right.
And they're like, oh, they're definitely going to do it again and make it a whole thing, make it a series. I'm like, I don't think so. I think they love to just throw some money at a cool event, invite
100%.
some cool athletes. I was extremely jealous of the Silverstone thing. Did you get
I
invited to that? I was
No,
not invited to that.
I didn't. And Charlie, who we were doing a bit of work with, Charlie Bottrell, he was invited. He told us all about it, and it was mega. It was mega. But it's funny, just going back to that influencer thing you mentioned. Like, I think there was obviously a lot there, right? But like
No, but that's a real event. It wasn't
yeah,
about being in the fucking cold tub
exactly.
and
It's
taking selfies. It was about doing the work. There was some education.
doing the work, and I think that Red Bull are good at. They go after performance-based athletes, right?
Yes, and they have some influencers.
Yep,
It's fine.
Yeah, you have to like, and then you've got the perfect blend of like a Jake Dearden, right, who happens to be an influencer and and the top end athlete. So there's a few, but your Charlie Bottrells of this world, Lucy Davis again, she's kind of an athlete and that influencer. They're very clever, but they definitely go after the performance space, and that's what we like to do. Like, we're a performance app. We're not looking to partner with just your average influencer who probably hasn't even done a HYROX himself, right? Who like really can't even attest to it. We like performance, and I saw the Red Bull thing, and I went through the list who was there, and again they're similar. They have a similar mantra of it's performance. It's kind of performance first.
Yeah. So I think this is a great place to wrap up. I think you and I, this is a great first chat. Again, developers can go either way. So Yeah, man. Thanks for coming on. We'll talk more soon.
Yeah, great. Well, thanks for having me. We've got some stuff coming out, so I'd love to come back on at some point and maybe we can go through it all because yeah, I'm keeping a bit of it close to my chest at the minute, but it's coming to the world soon, and then we can chat about it.